Peace, y'all. This is G1.
This is Rod Stars.
Together, we Rebel Diaz.
Right now, we in Chicago, once again, coming at you live from the same seats in Wicker Park with another episode of And You Don't Stop.
This week, Claudia talks to immigration activist Elvira Arellano. Rod Stars hits the street to talk to the people about the hashtag Dreamers. Also, on Rooftop Live, we have Reyes Poetry.
As y'all may know, we've been having love for Elvira Arellano for a while. I remember in 2007, we dropped the lyrics, and for Lil Salito, we gon' fight for your mom, so we gon' shout her out twice in one song. I'm from 12 billion workers in Elvira Arellano for a world without borders and a better tomorrow. For this week's El Reporte, we have Claudia sitting down with Elvira Arellano, who's back in the U.S., giving us an update on what's going on with her, straight from the church on Division Street.
Bueno, después de haber estado dentro de la iglesia durante un año en santuario luchando y resistiendo para no ser deportada y también a favor de la reforma migratoria y la reunificación de las familias, pues decidí salir para ir a California a participar en una marcha y también para solicitar una entrevista con la congresista Nancy Pelosi y Zoe Lofgren en ese tiempo. Nos hospedamos en la iglesia de la Placita Olvera. Había una persona que nos estaba siguiendo. Hubo un evento en la iglesia de la Placita Olvera. Salimos para ir a San José, California, y al salir inmediatamente de la Placita Olvera un carro nos comenzó a seguir. Eran oficiales de inmigración que estaban pues haciendo un operativo para arrestarme y deportarme. Bueno, cuando a mí me deportaron, yo no me quedé callada allá en México. Yo seguí involucrada en la defensa de los derechos humanos de las personas migrantes y principalmente en México con los migrantes centroamericanos que transitan por México, organizando diferentes acciones de protesta para denunciar lo que está ocurriendo con las violaciones a sus derechos humanos y denunciando las extorsiones, los secuestros, las violaciones, las desapariciones.
The Republicans just passed a border bill through the House of Representatives that will lead to the deportations of thousands of young people, many of them dreamers. So the hashtag we're going to talk about today is hashtag Dreamers. Let's see what the people of Chicago have to say.
I don't think it's right. We all deserve our chance. Who are you to say that we aren't working hard and we don't deserve our chance at making it right?
People need an education, and now they can't get an education just for a bill, you know? It's not fair.
Well, I personally supported it. I think if they're here and they're going to college, then they should be able to fulfill the dream that they had. So I was in support of the bill. I hate to see that the GOP has decided to not keep it in vogue.
Yo pienso que está mal porque tienen que darle la oportunidad a las personas que vienen para progresar, para tener más estudios y mejorar también aquí en Estados Unidos porque también necesitan gente joven para seguir esperando aquí.
I don't think it's fair to people that are trying to get an education and just survive and get a paycheck and stuff like that.
It's pretty ridiculous. I am a teacher here in Chicago, and the DREAM Act would be really important for a lot of my own students, so I take that very personally. It's pretty offensive. They are productive citizens, whether they want to be or not, of this country, and failing to recognize that is just criminal.
So I feel offended because I think we all have the right to become someone in life and achieve all the goals that we have. Right now, there's millions of South American kids that are trying to pass the border to get a better life, to escape from drugs, from violence in their countries, and because there isn't enough money and enough opportunities for them to grow.
I just think it's not fair because that was a big opportunity, like, for people to have a good education,
To get a better job and go to school and get a career. So it's not fair.
Young kids that want to go for that dream, and they're smart. So, you know, and now they're cutting all this, their rights for that DREAM Act. I think it's a shame, you know.
The youth that are trying to mobilize and trying to do good things, be civically involved, and so it's sad that, you know, something that could be so beautiful could be taken away from them.
Yes, y'all. G1 here with another edition of Rooftop Live. We are in the rooftops of Chicago with the amazing poet Reyes. Thank you for being here with us today, my brother. The people's poet, and using his art, his poetry to inform the people, to teach, to grow our community. Can you share a little bit about how you view the struggle for immigrant rights moving forward, not only involving Elvira Arellano, but also as a broader movement for social justice, as a broader movement of uniting different immigrant communities here in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the context of immigration a lot of times gets simplified. It becomes, look at these illegal people crossing borders, and especially brown people, but we don't put it in the context of a world economy. And we don't necessarily look at what happens in France, right, with Algerians and North Africans, or what happens in Spain with North Africans and Indians and folks moving into these other spaces. And really what happens is anywhere there was colonies, those folks that were colonized are now moving to the empire. That's a historical process that's taken place long before any of these conversations that we're having. So for me, Elvira Arellano was a reflection. In my poem, She, right, a lot of people were looking at her wanting to be here as this very selfish, kind of individualistic thing. But in reality, for her, she represented a multitude of people that didn't have a voice openly. And the Dreamers are that as well. If we look at any of these young folks that pushed kind of the generation a little bit older than them, the Dreamers are one of those generations that were like, look, we're here, we need to figure something out, and we're gonna make it happen. And so you've seen this explosion of marches that took place all over the country in the US. But with immigration, I think every victory that we can get little by little, you know, there's some folks that struggle in Congress and they struggle within the context of electoral politics. Other people go out on the forefront, other people march, other people push movements forward on a grassroots level. And every piece is important, none more than the other. I don't think necessarily that there's like something more important than the other piece. But for me, I think every victory that we get, whether it's with this DACA, with the deferred action, whether it's the legislation that's being pushed forward, what we need to do is just build on those steps, right? And we build and build. And I think like something like Elvira Arellano, for me, really showed what can happen when your community comes together. Because Elvira was supposed to be deported really early on. And she took a stand as somebody who was an undocumented mother who really was pushed to the point where she had no other choice. And so when we look at somebody that can do that, because now we see Elvira as somebody speaking on a microphone and touring, but she wasn't always that. I remember Elvira when she was just a young woman that was very quiet and shy and didn't necessarily have the language to articulate what was taking place. She understood that she was going through this process and being treated unfairly. But now you see a woman who's a leader, an organizer, somebody who communicates, who can get in front of a camera and speak for people that don't necessarily have a voice often.
She the warrior, she the mother, she the fighter, standing against all odds, refusing to be an object of an unjust power structure that yearns to objectify her with the only object being that she is objected to the pain of power. She who objects to the same structures that value plastic and products over flesh and soul. She fighting this new war that's not new to us. She fighting with beautiful poetry of sanctuary. She the warrior of her people, fighting not for herself, no, that would be too easy, but fighting for all of those who have been pulled away by night, stolen away from their children, their families, disappeared, ripped apart from all they know, arrested and cuffed at work, shipped away to be the products that they toiled to create. This country, disinfecting this nation of what they believe to be a parasitic problem, as she, they, we clean in their kitchens, their airports, their homes, their restaurants, their streets, their churches, at gunpoint breaking into our homes with paper that make it legal to steal human life. She, who is the reflection of Toretzin, of La Virgen, of Emma, of the Mexican people, of our community. She, the reflection of us, of me, of you, of we. She, the reflection of our struggles and our strength and our victories. She who gave her freedom for more than 1 year. She was facing and confronting all that is unjust, fighting the real illegalities of human rights. She who has fasted so others can eat while yet others can feast on the malnourishment on the rest of the world. She who blocked the shining light of 50 white stars, taking their cosmic power, exposing them for the hypocrites that they are. Like Kutsula Butchli consumed his brothers and his sisters. She who bore 7 red stripes of modern day slavery. She who bore scars of 7 red stripes of modern day slavery. She who displayed dark blue bruises of brutal laws of man. She who brought those powers to a standstill. She who had those powers face their fears, who confronted them. She who was crucified, apprehended, giving her life voluntarily, all the while knowing the risk involved. She gave it with respect, honor, and dignity. She who is respected in every Mexican home, etched into our consciousness, our resound resistance. She who brought the dreams of the world and brought those who beautiful yellow flowers to those who did not want to believe. She adorned with red roses, making those like Juan Diego did not want to understand. She the child separated from his mother. She the daughter in school paying full tuition, not able to receive financial aid. She the man selling paletas on every street corner. She the young woman selling tamales, mango, sandia. She the young man cooking, making the best Mexican, Italian, Chinese, Greek food in the city. She the woman taking care of children that are not hers. She the young gang member has no hope, sells drugs to his own people, his only option to live. She the loving father and mother working 2 jobs each to pay the rent. She the young optimistic activist poet dreaming that they can still change the world. She simultaneously her and us, they and we, the duality of the Mexican soul, the Christian and the dead, the living and the dead, the Christian and the pagan. She very much her, she very much us. She Elvira Arellano, we are all Elvira Arellano.